Hello, I'm just gonna give a little bit of an explanation here. I recorded an episode, but because of my complete noobness, I forgot to unmute my mic, and now I have to re-record an entirely new episode, and that was why there is not a discovery queue here ready. But we can start another one, and so let's begin episode 4. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Epic Fantasy Reborn, the next chapter in a highly anticipated Elder Scrolls saga, arrives from the makers of 2006 and 2008 Games of the Year, Bethesda Game Studios. Skyrim reimagines and revolutionizes the open-world fantasy epic, bringing to life a complete virtual world open for you to explore. Is that the rest of the description? Explore in a way you choose. That could have worked actually. Should have just left it like that. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, well, actually, if you don't know what Skyrim is, you've been hiding under a rock, because I don't know who probably doesn't own it now, especially with it being on the PC with built-in mod support through Steam Actual Workshop mod support. It's fairly cheap. I'm sure it was more expensive than when it first came out. Although, yeah, that's probably the one. Let's see, what does the Legendary Edition include? Is it just all the DLC, or it's basically a Game of Year edition, all DLC. All right. So yeah, I mean, this I would highly recommend. I put in a good couple of hours as well myself into it, and the mods are crazy. There's a huge community dedicated to making mods for this game, and some really good mods too. Um, yeah, the DLC as such you might not really have to get. Some mods do require possibly Dragonborn and Dawn Guard because they do have extra scripting and events and stuff like that expands the base game. But I mean, just the base game itself is actually really good. And the modding community, the mods out there will give you hundreds of hours of extra content, so for free pretty much as well. So I would definitely recommend this within a heartbeat, even at $20. Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Launch into the Borderlands universe and shoot and loot your way through a brand new adventure that rockets you to Pandora's Moon on Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Very positive, even though 80%. I have not played this one, but I have played Borderlands 2, and this pretty much for the most part is Borderlands 2.5. It really doesn't do anything more than the original game, or first two games did actually. There's some interesting DLC, although it's mostly, oh jeez, I mean, although Season Pass probably covers a lot of this, so I don't know why that's listed twice. It's funny. Yeah, $60. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, look, there's a lot of nuts. I mean, yeah, the new setting is rather interesting, though. I fear the level design is actually rather bad, but unintuitive at least. Then there's the new beam weapons, ice weapons, laser weapons. I don't think that constitutes really $60. I mean, if they could have made this into an actual DLC for Borderlands 2, that would have been fine at probably $30 or $20 if they cut it up into chunks as well. But then, of course, Borderlands 2 is so much DLC. It's insane. Yeah, I can't recommend it. Having played Borderlands 2, and that one's fine, but this one, Divinity Original Sin. Gather your party and get ready for a new Back to the Roots RPG adventure. Discuss your decisions with companions, fight foes in turn-based combat, explore an open world, and interact with everything and everyone you see. Join up with a friend to play online in co-op, or make your own adventures with. Where's the rest of it? God damn it! Well, there literally isn't a description anywhere here about this game. Hide it. With the RPG toolkit, actually, there's a built-in toolkit that allows you to build stuff, and there's a video for it there. Yeah, that's all gameplay, and it's a good-looking CRPG, classic RPG, computer RPG, whatever the acronym for that really is. It's very positive. Wow. Okay, 92. $40. Although there's a collector's edition which is $70. Although 2 copies, so basically it's a double pack, and then there's DLC bundled with it. And yeah, there's a DLC, $10. Oh, it's a bundle. Yeah, it's a bundle pack of DLC. And then there's free DLC for it. I've heard it's really, really good, with a very interesting system where you can kill quest-giving NPCs, but there are other ways to get the quests and stuff. It's game of the year. Wow, it really is a good thing. I would recommend it, and I probably will be playing it and getting it sometime. Spintires or Spintires, whatever. Take responsibility of operating large all-terrain Soviet vehicles, adventure across the rugged landscapes with only a map and a compass to guide you. Explore the levels and unlock portions of the map while discovering new trucks, fueling stations, garages, and lumber mills. Very positive. Although it's 87. I've seen this played, and it is interesting. I mean, especially the mud system, where vehicles would dig themselves down into mud or into loose ground and eventually just root themselves there. Then you have to, in a system similar to Driver San Francisco, you jump out of that vehicle and into another one, and you have to drive there and then pull the first vehicle out of the mud, etc. Fording rivers is quite hazardous, where your vehicle can turn over, and it's basically a Soviet lumberjack simulator. It's far from the most I can gather from it, really. It's fairly interesting. I believe it was also kickstarted as well. What negative reviews? Tech demo. Yeah, that is the only other thing. It's other than gathering lumber and pulling other trucks out of the mud and navigating a wild, hazardous wilderness, I don't think there's really much else to it other than as a sandbox. It's just a big sandbox. There's no real drive to complete things, I guess. There's no story to speak of, so it sounds interesting, but I don't think I will actually find much enjoyment with it, so I won't recommend it. This War of Mine. In this war of mine, you do not play an elite soldier, rather a group of civilians trying to survive in a besieged city. Struggling with lack of food, medicine, and constant danger from snipers and hostile scavengers, the game provides an experience of war seen from an entirely new angle. Overwhelmingly positive. Yep. This one really struck me. When I first saw it, I was like, "Wow, that's a really interesting art style," and then the premise as well. The survivors of a bombed-out city trying to survive in a war-torn environment. It's very interesting. Trying to struggle and survive on the meager resources and scavenge, and fight even for like food and bandages and medicines and anything. I've been watching people play through it, and I would say it's definitely an amazing game. It's also something really you have to experience. The nerve-wracking nature of trying to guide someone through a hostile environment and then losing your valuable members is quite nerve-wracking and anxiety-inducing, I must say. Yes, this I would definitely recommend. $20, yeah, sure. I I definitely recommend it. Next, Insurgency. Take to the streets of intense close quarters combat, where a team's survival depends upon securing crucial strongholds and destroying enemy supply lines. Multiplayer and cooperative source engine based experience. Very positive. The closest I can say this is to is a Arma meets Counter Strike. It has the gun handling and very twitchy, high recoil nature of Arma, with an overall counter-terrorist or actually possibly a SEAL team, Rangers versus insurgents, terrorists essentially, at least in terrorists. It is an interesting like firefight game, and it's tense. The battles or skirmishes are fierce, and people die extremely quickly. A couple of bullets into your body will take you out. This isn't Call of Duty in any respect. It's even worse than that. If you feel Call of Duty has a high kill ratio, this is even worse. But there is stuff like bullet drop off, and well, look at that. Ambient occlusion with a little fuzz around the scope. Interesting. And then this, I believe it is a HUD-less game as well. When you, no, I'm wrong. There is a HUD. Although it's possibly these, I've heard of there is actually a HUD. There is a what you call a hardcore mode where you don't get a HUD at all, and it's just I think, but there's a lot of those kinds of game modes, even in Battlefield that are hardcore where there's no HUD. I think it's pretty good. $15. Yeah, although I must say there's virtually no single player and no actual storyline. It's a deathmatch. It's a Twitch-y deathmatch kind of game. I think there are different game modes as such, but it is really people, players versus players. There's no storyline as such. Yeah, I probably would recommend it. It's quite cool from what I've seen being played. Marvel Heroes 2015. Marvel Heroes 2015 is a preview Marvel MMO ARPG where you have been waiting for. Play as Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men, and more. Battle infamous villains such as Doctor Doom, Loki, Magneto to save the universe. It's basically Diablo with Marvel characters and it's set in the Marvel universe. As an MMO ARPG, I don't think it really garners the MMO aspect of it. From what I've seen, most of the characters, when you're playing as a character, you'll run around an instance level where at least I think about 5 other human characters can randomly be put into the same instance. The only instance I've seen where hundreds of people are running around is like the hub. That's a battle zone of some kind. Is the hub area where you buy and sell. It's the town basically. And I don't know. It is free to play as well, but apparently, from what I've heard, a lot of the good characters are actually gated away behind paywalls. Even with a 82% rating, I don't know. Any negative reviews? None to report to the top. I don't know. I like it. It's a nice concept and everything, but I've heard there are large problems with it, especially in the free to play aspect. I can't recommend it. Subaquatica. Descends into the depths of alien underwater world, filled with wonder and peril, craft equipment, pilot submarines, terraform voxel terrain, and outsmart wildlife to explore lush coral reefs, volcanoes, cave systems, and more, all while trying to survive. Very positive. Who does Oculus Rift support? To those few people who have them, and for those who are able to actually code that crap. Well, it's got a very interesting visual aesthetic and design of characters and monsters. Whoa, mega jellyfish. Or is it a jellyfish manta ray? Whatever. It looks fairly interesting. Early access. $19 early access game. I mean, it has interesting look to it, though. Yeah, look at this. Sea bases and a loot system there. You can't even pick up loot at the moment, so basically it's just a swimming simulator through alien environments and stuff. No negative reviews have come to the top. I will probably wait till it's done or further along or till I hear something really ravingly good about it overall. Payday 2, my favorite game. Payday 2 is an action-packed four-player co-op shooter that once lets gamers don the mask of the original Payday crew, Dallas, Hoxton, Wolf, and Chains, as it descends into Washington, D.C. for an epic crime spree. Very positive. It is a fun game, I must say, having put a lot of hours into it. $20. I have seen it on sale for less. 75, I'm sure, it's popped up before. And yeah, oh god, Game of the Year edition. There's a ton of DLC there. $80, and then that doesn't even include all of the DLC. There's more still coming out. I will recommend it though. That's the biggest issue of the game. Really, and there's like a current event they've got going on called the hype train. The more people buy, the more gets funded into this free giveaway DLC packs and stuff like that. Although they're not packs essentially. It's free DLC to get everyone that owns Payday. But yeah, there is a ton of DLC, and some of it isn't really necessary. Other than there's a lot of free stuff too, which is quite nice. They actually do give away free things. Certain ones, like some of the actual heist missions, Drama Transport, Big Bank, Hotline Miami, Diamond, Bomb, they're kind of cool if you're really getting bored of the staple normal heists. One thing I must say, lots of the other weapon packs are fairly useless. The only really good ones are Sniper and Shotgun. Or possibly Assault if you're looking for the grenade launcher, but I mean you get high explosive rounds with the shotguns, and those deal with and most things just as well as the grenade launcher. Sniper rifles also, those are really good as well. They can supplement the shotgun HE rounds pretty well. Those two are probably the only musts for weapon DLC. The rest, I don't know. Extra characters. If you bored of the current 6 base characters, I believe there are currently. Yeah, it is really good, and like I've said, a lot of people tend to moan and complain. You'll see a lot of that about the DLC. How much resentment Overkill have gotten because of their large amount of DLC. But there's one other thing you can say about it. That's optional. You don't have to buy it. If you enjoy the base game and you don't really need anything else, then just buy the base game and that's it. You don't have to buy anything else. There's a pretty big community too. It is a generally fun game. I mean, it's not entirely a cop killing simulator, if you want to say that. There is stealth and quiet heists where you can get away with it without triggering an alarm. Though I must say those can be a bit boring. In fact, waiting for a a drill to burn through a bank vault while nothing else is happening for half an hour is kind of annoying. But you know, it's I don't know, it's pretty cool. And Overkill are supporting it quite well. I mean, like with paid DLC and free DLC, there's a lot of free DLC coming out, so there's a lot of support from the game, even if there are some hate mongers. So yeah, I would say I definitely recommend Payday 2. The Long Dark. The Long Dark is a thoughtful exploration survival experience that challenges solo players to think for themselves as they explore an expansive frozen wilderness in the aftermath of a geomagnetic disaster. There are no zombies, only you, the cold, and all the threats Mother Nature can muster. This, overwhelmingly positive. This is actually quite cool. No zombies survival. Yay. You're basically surviving against natural things that you would if a person was stranded in Alaska, northern Canada, Scandinavia, Siberia, kind of stuff. Yeah, that's a nice, interesting concept. That's different from all of the others. Early access though, that is a problem. Though for $20, I think if it was in the teens, it might be more recommended at full price. But early access, I've seen this go on sale as well, so you might probably want to hold out for it. But from as far as I've seen, it's pretty good for how far along it is. Being an early access game, it's not one of those broken ones that are, no, not too broken. There probably are still elements that are being implemented, etc. Language 4Gs. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing if you like survival, or if you're looking for a true, actual survival. That doesn't mean you're starving to death. There's actual environments, things like freezing, hypothermia, and wolves. Wolves are pretty bad, apparently. Yeah, I would recommend this. It's a good, interesting survival game. Grey Goo. Fight for survival on a planetary oasis by commanding one of three factions: defense-oriented humans, a versatile beta, or an all-consuming goo. Construct impenetrable walls, dominate from strategic outposts, overcome the goo and overrun your enemies. Mostly positive. Yeah, from what I've heard, it's pretty good. Old school RPG. No, turn. No, op, classic real-time strategy in the vein of Command and Conquer. None of the factions as such play really like the standard Command and Conquer factions. Like they've shown there, the human faction has to connect through nodes, has like basically a network they have to build off of. The beta are one of the few things that are similar to classic or more informative real-time strategies, though they build a nexus and they build a few things off it, and you can customize that to be a specific unit type factory. Then the goo is completely new there. I don't believe there's really been a strategy game where you've had a mobile base, basically, or your base itself is mobile and spawns units by splitting itself into parts and stuff. I think that is quite a new concept. Also, there's apparently a really nice single player to it, where there's extremely crazy high fidelity characters that are almost photorealistic looking, and the two pictured here are both frickin' aliens. So, I've heard it's pretty good, though. And there's an editor, at least a map maker for it as well, that should expand out the lifespan a bit possibly. Although it is quite slow paced from what I've heard. Any negative reviews? No. And then the boil to the top. Yeah, I probably would recommend it as a fan of the original Command & Conquer's and Red Alert. It seems pretty good. Last game, Assetto Corsa. I'm not a very big car person, and especially ones that are more simulation like this. This is not an arcade racing game like you Need for Speeds or Burnout Paradise. It is quite a simulator, from what I've heard, in the vein of the Colin McRae rally games in a way. Taking a corner at too high a speed will send you flying into the bandstands, basically. I don't like those kinds of games. At the best, at the worst of times, even. At the best of times. Though I must say that those are really pretty looking vehicles. Some high fidelity models there. Jeez. If you really like simulator orientated racing games, I guess this is for you. But no, not for me. $50 as well. I've seen this on sale. It used to be in early access, I believe. So yeah, I'd probably wait till it's on sale if I like the genre. And that concludes our episode for today. Join me next time. I will possibly be doing a 3Q special for the 5th episode. I might do that every 5 episodes or so, depending on how I feel. So, see you then. Bye.